Good morning, everyone. I'm Paul Beyer from GAI Insights, and welcome to our daily GenAI executive briefing, where we discuss and rate top news items. Our team of AI analysts rate each article as essential, important, or optional to help executives and leaders at companies stay current and to help AI leaders keep their management team and CEOs current. Today's briefing is sponsored by GAI Insights, and the discussion will be led by Tim Andrews. Go ahead, Tim.
Morning, everybody. Ankaj, you want to start with the first story for us?
Sure, thanks, Tim. So the first news update that we have for today is from Dun& and Bradstreet and IBM. So Dun& and Bradstreet and IBM have partnered to use IBM Watson X with Dun& and Bradstreet's data. And one of the tools that they are launching is around Ask Procurement, which is a solution trained on Dun& and Bradstreet's data and using IBM Watson's X and answering various issues and concerns related questions around procurement.
Okay, so John, Luda, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'd rate this as important. I think this is a new trend we're going to see where we're going to have a bundling of interpretation on content.
Yeah, I would agree that it is important from the point of view, it's certainly a trend with data integrations and models and focused on business as well. But as a just a IBM, because there are so many of these, maybe it's optional. But I'm open.
Go ahead. What was that?
I'm open to other views.
Okay. Adam, you have a thought on this one?
I honestly don't know enough about how big a player Dun & Bradstreet is in the market that's really our target to be able to say whether this is optional or not. I think a lot of people are going to be partnering with a lot of people around this stuff, and if we draw too much attention to every time someone makes an announcement about anything, it's just going to be too much news. To the point, though, if there's a trend or something that we want to emphasize or highlight, that might be reason to make it important, but I wouldn't be the judge of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd stick with important on this one because of the Dun & Bradstreet and IBM are huge legacy brands, right? D&B is massive.
Yes, I agree. Okay, let's go important.
Okay, I can vote for important. Again, it's two significant companies with significant markets, and they are going into production. So again, this is going to pound the table on this inflection point where we're starting to see the first big moves into production, which I think is important. Okay, important. Next.
Next one is again from IBM. So IBM has announced plans to buy software AG's two businesses, two technology platforms. One is StreamSets and another is Web Methods.
Amanda, Julio, any thoughts on this one?
I'm more optional on this one because it almost sounds like a marketing type announcement. So I think for this, I'm more optional.
I think optional too. I don't know that these two companies are that relevant to our interests here.
Yep, I would agree. They're not even really Gen AI companies. They're more data integration and API management companies. Any other comments other than optional?
I mean, Tim, I'm just dying laughing. Web Methods is from like the internet age, right? It's like 96 or 98.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's an old one. Old one, but good one. Okay. Optional. Next.
Okay, the next one is from ByteDance and OpenAI. So ByteDance has been using OpenAI's technology to train its own OpenAI competitor, but it has come out and it is trying to justify that it is not stealing OpenAI's data, or it's just justifying itself that it's developing its own sort of technology.
Okay. Julio, Adam, thoughts on this one?
I don't have any thoughts. I thought this was optional. I don't know that it's that important.
Yeah, I consider optional as well.
Bruce, do you have any thoughts?
I agree.
Okay.
Optional.
Anybody for anything other than optional here? Yeah, I agree. It's a more okay. Optional. On to the next one.
Okay. The next one is not a news item as such, but more of a discussion kind of thing that AI might be on a trajectory to surpass human intelligence, and what are the different scenarios around it. So this discusses a scenario that things go on as they are right now, or we achieve AGI in 20 years, or we achieve that in the next 5 years. So how should we prepare about it?
Yeah, but for me, that this is, I don't know, it's a personal pet peeve. I think the whole conversation about AGI is a waste of time. I think that the real issue is what are organizations, competition, military, society going to be with mesh intelligence, where you've got all kinds of decentralized agents and everything. Whether or not it's artificial general intelligence or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care what we call it. We're already using this stuff. It's already baked into the news we get. It's going to now be baked into the images and everything. It's just, to me, it's a waste of time.
Paul, you agree?
I completely agree. This whole discussion is a waste of time. I think the important thing that you highlight, John, is do we have tasks today that these tools are doing as good or better than our current knowledge workers in Wynn's work? And hands down, it's getting better. So, and by the way, how are we going to measure this? This is a goal post that we can't measure. So it's a nonsensical topic with a nonsensical goal line, in my view.
I'll jump in and respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I think you're all misinterpreting large language models for AGI in terms of what's being talked about here. And the fact that the International Monetary Fund is putting the outer bands on their estimates at 20 years and the aggressive estimate at 5 years is significant, because it means there's a global concession that true AGI, in alignment with, images now being generated by organic material that has intelligence, that we're growing. There's something much, much bigger going on. And I think people need to understand that AGI is nothing like anything we're seeing right now.
I hear you. It's important. I hear you. I just don't, I think that the way I think about it is we already have AGI, depending upon how you define it.
No, we don't.
Sure we do. I mean, it's like we couldn't live in any of the stuff we're living in now if we weren't augmented by machines. Computers think differently than people do, and always have. We wouldn't have the space race we have. We wouldn't have the molecules we have. We wouldn't have, we already have a ton.
We can call it optional. Maybe it's definitional for me about what AGI is. It's all right.
That's okay. No, I think it's a worthwhile conversation. I think it will be completely, when they start acting on their own and creating new stuff, yes, that's different. That to me isn't artificial general intelligence. That is generative intelligence.
Luda, you have thoughts here?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I totally agree that's optional for our audience. We can debate and discuss it, but there's no real solution. I don't want to be on this the sky is falling type of mentality, because people are scared, and especially if they are not really informed. And the first question you get about AI, are we going to be run by machines? That's not true. And so we shouldn't, as a knowledgeable body or group of people, we shouldn't support this type of trending. So I would certainly put it in optional.
It's funny. I think we're already run by machines. That's what I'm saying.
Nah.
I agree. I think the underlying discussion here is right, because the problem is there's no definition of what AGI is. So Adam has a point. This article actually is not even about that, really. It's about the economics and policy structure, which we've always said, this is the bifocal lens argument, is important.
Scroll down the page to the graph with the scenario for wages.
Right, that's the real issue.
That's what I'm talking about, being at 5 years, right? And that's important.
The real issue
Scroll down, Ankash.
Right. But this one, Ankash, can you scroll down on the article? You hear us, Ankash?
Yes, just scrolling it down.
But guys, this is a great discussion topic.
It's a good discussion, but it's irrelevant to the tactical day-to-day stuff. This is the top side of the bifocals, which is what happens if nobody has a job. That could be a big issue. We've had this, to John's point,
Chart 2.
Is not that different. Keep going, Ankaj, from what happened in the auto industry, in the manufacturing industry, in the steel industry. They weren't AGI machines.
The
but
next chart,
machines
Pankaj.
and low-cost labor effectively gutted the American market for these services.
Keep going. There you go.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
The point is, it's an important societal issue, but not an important issue for our day-to-day harried, frenetic AI executives. They have time, they're interested. We encourage all citizens to read it because it's an important issue.
5 years from the IMF is significant. Let's move on.
Okay. Optional is the rating, even though we spent more time talking about it. We like this stuff.
You know what? But at a future time, I think we should talk about it because that chart assumes a particular kind of ownership structure.
That's right.
I mean, because that assumes capital gets all the upside, current capital, and labor gets nothing.
Right.
Okay. But if you look, what is the venture capital about? It's about cutting labor into capital. Right?
I think it's a great topic for one of the labs. You will get lots of
We'll
opinions.
just try to get us off this. Okay, got it.
Okay.
For the record, though, I would have voted important. Important. Disagree.
Yeah, the other engineer on the call votes important as well.
Okay, important it is. All right, I can go for that.
Okay, important. Next, Ankaj.
Okay, so the next one is around Answer.ai. So this is a new venture from Jeremy Howard of the Kaggle and Fast AI fame and Eric Ries. So they are launching a fund which will focus on practical end user products based on foundational research breakthroughs.
Anybody open mic here? Amanda, Luda, anybody have an opinion on this one?
I think it's optional, but yeah, I think this is a beginning. This is a good endeavor. It certainly is worthwhile to try it, but there's nothing in the article to say that they've succeeded in anything yet.
Yeah, and they even say it's going to take years for them to have any kind of output. So I think it's optional. I think it's interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it if a for-profit R&D lab can succeed, or how it succeeds, or in what areas it's actually beneficial or makes any progress. So.
Yep, shades of OpenAI, huh? Okay, we'll see if it gets anywhere. Optional, anybody else? Okay, do we have more, Ankaj?
That was the last one, Tim.
Okay, there we go. Thanks, everybody. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. 12 minutes. We continue to get better and keep sending us feedback. Thanks, everyone.